Jai Gajanan, Ganeshaya Namastubhyam, Herambaya Ekadantine, Swanandavasine Tubhyam, Brahmanaspataye Namaha. So we continue with the story of Bali. Bali is wanting to become Indra, higher position. Everybody aspires for something greater. So Bali wants the position of Indra. Shukracharya has advised Bali that you should do 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas. So now Indra is frightened that his position is in danger. So he approaches Brahma and asks for a solution. So then Brahma, they all go to Vishnu. Vishnu says, "Okay, I will assume an incarnation of Vamana avatar. That is Vamana, it's a small boy, a brahmachari boy. I shall go and entice him." So Vamana, he prays to Ganesha, seeks the blessings from Ganesha, from Vakratunda, and he says that give me the powers to be able to subjugate the enemy of Devas. So because the rishis and all had approached, Indra had approached the Devas that this Bali is planning to have this yajna, Ashwamedha yajna, so we don't want him to overpower us. So then Dundi blesses them and blesses them, saying, "Don't worry, I shall be with you, and I shall give you the intelligence to be able to subdue the enemy of the Devas." So Vamana, this that he is the fifth incarnation of Vishnu, Vamana avatar. He is born to Kashyapa. Kashyapa and uh, had prayed that Vishnu be born as a son. So to Kashyapa, Vishnu is born as this Vamana avatar. Now, Vamana, with the intention of subduing Bali, he goes to Bali's place. Bali is doing the yajna, beginning the Ashwamedha yajna. He has built the canopy and the mandap and everything, and they are ready. This place is in Bharuch in Gujarat. The yajna is taking place in those days. It was called Bhrugu Kach. So Bhrugu Kach, or the present day Bharuch, on the banks of the river Narmada, he is performing. All the rishis, munis, brahmanas are all ready there, and they have assembled to perform this yajna. Suddenly, this Vamana comes there. Seeing that Vamana, they were all surprised. How come he has come just now? So he and Bali was wondering, oh, now Brahmana has come as a brahmachari coming for alms. So Bhavat Viksha Dehi, then what to do? What are we to give now? Shukracharya looked at the boy and immediately he recognized, oh, this is Bali, what went wrong. So he immediately recognized that Bali had not performed the puja of Ganesha before the beginning of the yajna, and that is why obstacles are coming one after the other. So and the Vigna has come in the form of Vishnu. So now the yajna started. Yajna is about to start or has started halfway through. This Brahmana has come. Now we can't do anything. So whatever may happen, let it happen. So he leaves it to fate, Shukracharya. So now Vamana asks for alms. He asks for Bhiksha. Listen, Bali had, so Vamana says, "O Lord of Daityas, what I want is three paces of land, three steps of land." Okay, this is all that he asks. So Bali said, okay, I shall, when any Brahmana, when he comes, he is supposed to, whatever he asks has to be given. And Bali is a Maharaja, he's a king of the Daityas. So naturally, he can't say no. So, with great respect, he agreed. Vamana, what he did, he assumed a big, gigantic form. And the first pace, the first step, he said, he put it on Swargaloka. So, Swarga he captured. Then, after that, he entered step. Bali was baffled. Now he didn't know what to do. He was speechless. He was distressed, not knowing what to offer. So Vishnu reprimanded him. He says, Vishnu, that is this Vamana, O Mahasura, as you are unable to repay the debt to a Brahmin, you will go to hell. So he warns him. So Vishnu now, these words of Vishnu, Vamana, distressed Bali all the more. Now he thought, okay, Vishnu has placed this curse now on this devotee. It's surprising. I'm a devotee of Vishnu, and still he's telling that you will go to hell. It is quite surprising. But then maybe I have done some great mistake. That is why Vishnu is punishing me like this. So he tried to remember what mistake he had done. So he realized that he had not prayed to Ganesha. So before beginning this yajna karma, so that is why Vishnu himself has come to punish him, to banish his devotee to hell. So what he did, does Bali does was he remembers Ganesha, and he prays to Ganesha in his heart, and he says, "Oh Ganesha, please protect me now. I have done a mistake. I've done a great mistake. Then Dundi Raja, he composed a stotra to Dundi Raja, that is Ganesha. O Vignaraja, you who destroys all obstacles, I bow to you. O Vignakarta, who especially creates obstacles to non-devotees, I bow to you. To Lord who is Sarvakara, who is a form of this whole world, all forms in this world, to the Lord whose form is comprehensible and incomprehensible. We can understand you and yet we cannot understand you. O Swanandapati, O Heramba, I bow to you. To the Lord of Brahmas, to the Master of Ganas, to Siddhibuddhipati, to Vishwambara, one who pervades the whole, who covers this whole Vishwa, I bow to you. To the Boundless One, to the one who is the refuge to all the different forms of Maya, I bow to you. O Dispeller of illusions and infatuations, O Ganesha, I bow to you. To the one who resides within all, the universal soul, the Chintamani, to the eternal supreme Brahma, to the origin of the universe, I bow to you. To the one who exists in the end, the beginning, in the middle, and everywhere, who is without a beginning, middle, or end, whose vehicle is a lion, I bow to you. O Ganadisha, forgive my innumerable offense and protect me from hell. I have been deluded because of your Maya. Due to my ignorance, I shunned you. I surrendered to Vishnu. When Shiva, Vishnu, and other devas and all the Vishwa becomes trapped by your Maya, you create obstacles. So, O Dundi, when Shiva, Vishnu, and other devas seek asylum to you with you, they become free of all this moha and obstacles. So if they can attain their status, and hence you are their supporter, there is no doubt. So then, O Mahavigna, o Ganesha, please remove me of this Mahavigna as well. O Gajanana, I have understood that by your grace, it is possible to be free of all obstacles. O merciful one, O Ganadyaksha, save me from hell. Your mere remembrance is sufficient to accomplish everything. So when Bali, the Daitya king, prayed to Ganadesha in this manner, an extraordinary announcement came from heaven. A heavenly proclamation came. Oh Daityendra, don't be afraid. I always protect the ones who surrender to me. As you remembered me, don't fear hell. This stotra that you have composed will free anybody who is going to hell, who goes to Naraka. Anyone who reads or narrates need not fear hell at all. So they will be blessed with all the four Purusharthas, that is, Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Dharma, righteousness; Artha, wealth or prosperity; fulfillment of all desires, that is Kama; and liberation, that is Moksha. O King Bali, he, his devotion to me will definitely be enhanced. That is, a devotee's devotion will always be enhanced. So, after listening to this heavenly proclamation, Bali became peaceful. He meditated on Ganapa and just stood mesmerized. Now, what to do? Just then, Vignesha, that is Ganapati, Vignesha, who was in the heart of Vishnu, just disowned Vignesha and manifested. So Vamana was left alone, and Vamana just suddenly, the Vishnu incarnation, he felt worried. He thought, Bali is my ardent devotee, he is facing grave calamities, the death of a Brahmin. So Vishnu has, when Vignesha went out of the body of Vamana, Vishnu comes to his own position. But that is Vamana. He realizes that he is Vishnu. As Vishnu, now Vishnu is thinking to himself, oh my God, what have I told as a Brahmin? A Brahmin's curse never goes to waste. I told this Bali that he will go to hell if he is not going to fulfill my desire. So now I behaved very foolishly, he thinks to himself, and I've tormented my own devotee. So but then he consoles himself. Bali was conceited, and so his deeds were against the precepts of the Devas. So he did not perform the puja of Ganadhyaksha. That is why this thought came into my mind. And so I resolved that his yajna should not be successful. So now, but what can I do? I have already pronounced this curse on my devotee. So Vamana also surrenders to Ganesha. Bali has surrendered to Gudundisha or Ganesha, and Vamana also now surrenders to Ganesha. Ganesha manifests himself. So Ganesha, the four-armed one, with manifests on um, Gajanana manifested as soon as he was remembered. So all of them bow to Ganesha, perform his puja, and then at that moment, when Ganesha has manifests himself, just then Bali suddenly a thought comes to his mind, and he tells Vamana, "Place your third foot on my head." So he places the Vamana, he reduces himself to the small size, places his third foot on Bali's head. Vishnu was overjoyed. He placed his foot on the head of the Bali and liberated his devotee. So Bali gets liberated. So all of them, Munis, Devas, and everybody praise Ganesha, the bestower of all siddhis, with faith and devotion. So then Vamana extolled, O Gananatha, I bow to you. To the Lord of all, I bow to you. To the creator of this world, to the Lord who exists in all the Ganas, to one who adorns the half moon on his head, to Vignesha, to the three-eyed one, to the one who has created the world and the incomprehensible Maya. O Vignesha, protect the ones who are deluded by your Maya. So neither we nor yogis can understand the powers of your Maya. So we behaved, please forgive my transgressions. O Nata, we are your devotees. So, as an ardent devotee, Bali is my ardent devotee. So he became conceited and he considered me as a supreme, and so he began with my puja. But now he has realized. As a result, he forgot to begin the puja with you. O Gajanana, I, along with all the Munis and Devas, pray that you grant success to this Danava. So even now, Vamana, Vishnu, all the Munis, they all pray to Ganesha that may his yajna be successful. So you are well known as Vinayaka. You are the absolute authority of all. So we are all followers of you, Vinayaka. When we transgress the Vedas, you deprive us of our status and punish us. O Lord, let my devotee get the rewards of his yajna. So when Vamana, that is Vishnu avatar, incarnation of Vishnu himself, prays on behalf of his devotee Bali, Vakratunda, he had no other choice. What can be done now? Ganadisha lifted him up and said, what can be done now? I have already granted the boon. Means Ganesha had already granted the boon to Vamana that I will subdue your enemy. On behalf of the Deva, he had already granted the boon. Now that also has to come true. So he says, okay, but now the Daityas, all of them will go to hell. There is no other choice. They will have to go to hell. But since you have asked, the Daitya had surrendered. Now the Daitya also has surrendered to me in his mind, speech, and spirit. You too have prayed me that his wishes should be granted, that his yajna should become successful. And so, okay, Shava, this is a grave. Understand the gravity of his offenses. So now I'll have to find a via media, right? Some resolution. This has to be balanced out. Initially, he had said that he will subdue the Daityas. And now the Daitya himself has surrendered. The Vamana avatar as Vishnu, he also asked that Yajna should be successful. So now what should I do? So Ganesha says, okay, right now that my pronouncement that he shall go to hell will be true. That is, they all will go to Patal Loka and stay there. But afterwards, after the end of this present Indra, now the present Indra in this particular uh, yuga is Purandara. Purandara is the Indra who is in charge of, in this um, Manvantara, in this yuga. So after his term is over, Bali will become the next Indra. So, in this way, Ganesha, he settled the problem and he says that, okay, now Bali cannot immediately become the Indra because he did not pray to me because before commencement of Yajna. But since he has surrendered, he will become Indra after the term of this Indra is over. And another one benefit he grants is that he need not have to do the 100 Ashwamedha Yajna. This is the first Yajna, and without doing the 100 Yajnas, also he will become the Indra. So this way, he pronounced his judgment. So in this manner, Bali was venerated by Ganesha and then concluded his yajna with faith and devotion. So, in this way, the first yajna itself was the last yajna. He did not do 100 yajnas, but he got the elevation to the position of Indra. But for the moment, he is in Patal Loka. After pronouncing this judgment, or we can say this benediction, Ganesha disappeared. So, the Devas too returned to their respective lokas. O Prajapati, Daksha, who is telling? Mudgalacharya is narrating the story to Prajapati. This is the legend and glory of Vamana. Anyone who listens to it with devotion will be blessed with fulfillment of his wishes. Anyone who narrates and listens to it attentively will be blessed with all his with fulfillment of all his wishes. So here in this Mudgal Puran, we get the first version, means the original version, what had happened. That is, then later on in the Vishnu Purana, if you go to see the third step, Bali is the Vamana puts the third step on Bali and is crushed and he goes to Patal Loka. It ends there. The further part is not given, nor that means it is only a certain portion is given. So this Mudgal Puran being from a yuga earlier to the Vishnu Purana, it has more finer details. So in this way, we end this chapter, which is 47th chapter of the first Khanda of the Purana Upanishad. The 48th, 49th, and the 49, 50, 51, we have already seen 50th chapter, 48, 49, 50, 51 chapters of, I had taken it up initially when we were discussing Kshipta, Vikshipta, Moodha. That is the how the Ruchika, the how the Rishi Ruchika, who was fascinated by that deer, and then he wanted to marry, and he went to the king and asked for the his daughter's hand. That is, um, means how they try to, means you want to, you get fascinated, disillusioned, how your mind gets Gadi's why, then how that the Gadi's wife and the Gadi's daughter who gets married to Ruchika, both of them approach Ruchika, and then he gives two bowls of sweet rice, sweet dish, and both they exchange each other's dish, and how Vishwamitra is born to the Rishi's wife, and how the other Rishi, then Vishwamitra is born to one, and the queen gives birth to a Brahmana, that is. And how Vishwamitra wants he wants to become a Brahma Rishi, and then he does penance and does Gayatri Mantra Japa for, and then there is a duel between Vasishta. Vasishta is not accepting Vishwamitra as Brahma Rishi, Vishwamitra is a Raja Rishi, so there is a duel. I mean, there is a lot of conflict between them. Vishwamitra is projecting as a Kshatriya, means he's having qualities of a Kshatriya, being the queen, who was born to that queen. So he fights and he wants to get that Kamadhenu, the cow from Vasishta Rishi, and the lots of battles ensues between them. And then finally he prays, and he does a lot of penance, years and years of penance. So these stories we saw from uh, how the mind can get disillusioned by power, and to attain a certain position, a person does anything, including the rishis. So that was, we had already seen these when we were covering the tendencies of the mind, Shipta, Vikshapta, Moda, then Ekagra Buddhi, that is concentration of the mind, single pointed focus of the mind. That is when Vishwamitra focused on the Gayatri Mantra and did japa for thousands of years, 10,000 years, 10,000 heavenly years. So 4 crore, imagine how many years he did japa. And then we also saw, I think we did see about Divodasa's story. We did see that Divodasa's story also, how Brahma wanted, when Shiva was did not rule his kingdom properly. Then Brahma said that so many people are dying. Your subjects are not getting food to eat. There was famine in Kashi, and so Brahma approached Divodasa, a Raja Rishi, and asked him to become the king of Kashi. And so Shiva and Parvati was asked to go to Mandara mountain, where Dadichi is doing penance, and Dadichi finally gives up his life and attains liberation. So Divodasa is ruling this Kashi, and how he substitutes all the devas, all gods disappear, and still he assumes the forms of all these gods because of his power of penance. So in this way, we have seen quite a few chapters on how we can, how how the power attracts, and for the sake of power, different people behave in different ways, including the gods. So that was about Kashi, and finally how Kashi was restored to Shiva. I think we saw all that as well. So then from tomorrow we shall proceed after that chapter, after when Kashi was restored to Shiva. How that story, if you want, we can revise that story, how Kashi was restored to Shiva, how Ganesha assumes the form of an astrologer and comes, and how Vishnu, one corrupts the minds of the people and one restores the mind of the people. And finally, because of the penance of Kashi as well as Shiva, the Kashi is restored to Vishwanath, Kashi Vishwanath. So that was up to chapter 51. So we shall see from chapter 52 tomorrow. Jai Gajana. So friends, today is a hump day. Hump day is considered a day for relaxation amongst the West. Hump is like on the camel, there is a hump on the back. So that causes a sort of a break, making the middle of the week. So it is a relaxation time. So we were discussing something on Gotras and everything, right? And we left off and we said we shall discuss it at some other time. Gotras, the lineage, and how this caste system has come about. Now, this caste system has gained so much of importance today in our country, and we just don't know from where to begin. Everybody tells one thing, and we don't know really where to begin. Why it has become such a big problem? Because it has become so diluted. The caste system has become so diluted. So, where did this caste system begin in the first place? Now we are doubting that also, no? So whether it was man-made or God created them, or how this caste system was created, on what basis this caste system was created, and now even one surname is a caste. So how do we handle this whole problem? That is the condition today. So if we go briefly into Brahma when he created various Prajapatis. So many Prajapatis were created. Some of them I can read out the names. Kashyapa, Swayambhu Manu, Dharma, Adharma, Praheti, Heti, Vasishta, Bhrigu, Marichi, Arishtameni, Vishwaswin, Daksha, Prachetas, Thanu, Samsrya, Sesha, Vikrita, Kardama, Kratu, Pulaha, Pulastya, Atri, Angiras. There were many of them. But among them, all of them, the one who was good enough, means who had all the qualities of becoming occupying the position of a Prajapati, was Prajapati. That is Daksha Prajapati. So he was made the king of all the Prajapatis. The Prajapatis are who are rulers of of his creation. Brahma created so many species or so many lineages, so many, including Saptarishis. So he created these Saptarishis like Angiras, Pulastya, Pulaha, Krutu, Kardama, all of these rishis, and he assigned, mm, um, and these rishis were also had wives. There were lineages from each of these rishis. So if we go to the Saptarishis, the most famous ones, it starts from the pole star, Dhruva pole star, the sun, in the north, Krutu, Pulaha, Pulastya, Atri, Angiras, Vasishta, Marichi. So now these had, even if you have corresponding names in either the Western system, we can say Krutu was Dubey, Pulaha was Merak, Pulastya was Fida, Atri was Megrez, Angiras was Aloth, Vasishta Arundhati was Mizar and Alcor, Marichi was Alkaid. So all these had their own corresponding names in other civilizations as well. So it is not only that pertaining to India, you can say, because it is the earth as a whole. So they had corresponding Egyptian names, they had correspond in the other civilizations as well. So we have all these rishis who had their own lineage, and Kardama, that is, some of them had two wives, some of the, so that way we have the lineage. The names are also there for each of them. Daksha Prajapati, Marichis, then Vasishta, Vishwaswar, Dharma, Adharma, Swayambhu Manu, Pururabas, Kashyapa. Kashyapa, and from Kashyapa came uh, all these the gods, as well as Manu, humanity. Manu was in charge of humanity. So Manu was in charge of humanity, from whom the various Manu's Vamsha came. From Aditi, the Daityas were there. So for each of these, from each of these rishis, these lineages are there for the different lokas as well. Okay, for each lokas, we saw 14 lokas. So each of the lokas, Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Swarloka, Maharloka, all this, and even the lower lokas, Patal Loka. So from each of them, there have been dynasties there, lineages from each of this. Even this Kashyapa, from Kashyapa, even animals were born. Animals, birds. So that we have to consider the whole of creation when we are thinking of this whole caste system. But for us, as far as we are concerned with our own earth right now, and we are concerned with the caste system in our country, right? So from where did that come about? So if we go to see that, that came from Kardama Rishi. Kardama Maharshi, Akuti Devahuti, Kapila, the next in line, Kapila, and Gritsapati. From Gritsapati came the four caste system of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. We are not touching all other parts of creation, because right now we are focusing on India and the caste system prevailing in our country. There is a big lineage and vast amount of data of all other lokas as well. So here, Brahmana, from Brahmana caste, Dhanvantri, Ketuman, Avirata, Divodasa. Then from Divodasa came Pratardhana. Then from Pratardhana, Bhargava and Vatsa. From Vatsa came Anarka and Vatsabhumi. So like this, there were division of the Brahmana caste. From Dehavuti came Kala, Anusuya. From Kala came Marichi, Kashyapa, Anusuya, Atri. From Kardama Maharshi again, Yajna, Dakshina. So we have all these so many other castes amongst from Kardama lineage. Okay, even under Kardama lineage, we have Bhargava, Vatsa, Kashyapa, Kshemaka, Anarka, Varshaketu, Vibhu. So, Satyak, so all these are also there under this lineage only. And from there, lakhs of sons have been born, 10,000. See, they say Dasha Jyoti, 10,000 sons were born. Satajyoti, 1 lakh sons were born. Sahasra Jyoti, 10 lakh sons were born. So, like this, Prapancha happened. The creation happened and spread all over. Amongst this, Kshatriyas, we know at a point of time, when Vishwamitra came, he killed 21 generations. Vishwamitra, although he was from the energy was of a Brahmin, but born to a Kshatriya woman. So he later on, because he killed um, sorry, then then Parashurama, Parashurama, the other one who had the who was born to uh, Ruchika's wife. He then Jamadagni and the Renuka. Those were in that lineage. He was born. Because he was born as a grandson of that Ruchika's wife. So he was born as a grandson. So then that was Jamadagni and Renuka, and then because of wars and things like that, Jamadagni was insulted. So Renuka Mata, she extracted a promise from Parshuram that he will take revenge. And Parshuram, for 21 generations of Kshatriyas, he promised to kill. So we saw that is another story altogether. Parshuram was an incarnation of Vishnu. He was a Shiva Bhakta, and he created destruction for 21 generations. So another in the lineage of Brahmanas were there, always there. They were doing the yajna karmas, and their lineages was passed on somewhat in a disciplined manner through gotras, marriages, and because they had knowledge of astrology, and so the gotras were maintained, and the lineage passed on for several generations in a proper manner. Kshatriyas, it was disrupted in this manner. 21 generations was disrupted, and at one point of time when the last king was supposed to be killed, was killed actually. At that time, his wife, the last king was okay, the last king, when he was killed, at that time, his wife, um, she escaped from crossing the rivers and through the forests, and escaped by the sea route from the Arabian Sea and landed in Kerala. And she hid in a cave of the Eli mountain. She hid in a cave of the Eli mountain called Eli. Now, Eli means rat in Malayalam, Tamil. So Eli mountain, she hid in that mountain. Eli was actually a rat who is a Gandharva who got cursed, and he was converted. He was cursed into a rat, and as a rat also he created a lot of problems, and so he was cursed by one rishi to become a mountain. So that is in that mountain she hid, and this Eli protected her, and she gave birth to a son, and that son was the continuation of the Kshatriya dynasty. Kshatriya caste did not get extinguished in spite of 21 generations being killed by Parshuram. So this son, boy who was born in the Eli mountain in Kerala, he was named um, Mushaka dynasty. That is Mushaka, because he was born in that mountain of Eli. His name was uh, big name. He was given a title by Vishwamitra only, and or Parshuram, and he was named after Mushaka dynasty. And that Mushaka dynasty still exists, and it exists even today. And that is how the when that cave was caved in, the cave where they were building the tunnel in Uttarakhand or wherever, Uttaranchal, where they were building the tunnel, that area, that region was governed by Parshuram, means that in that Parshuram's area it was. And so that is why even they brought bulldozers, they brought big machines, and what is that? JCBs and all kinds of drilling machines and all, and tried to rescue that 42 people trapped, 41 people trapped inside that tunnel. Only rat miners could save them. So that rat, the Moshaka Vamsha, which went to Kerala, the rat miners were actually banned from by our government, that they could not, that rat mining was illegal. But then only the rat miners could rescue those miners who were trapped in that this, because they were belong to that Moshaka Vamsha, from the Kshatriya, just to to re-establish the Kshatriya dynasty. That is, Kshatriya should rule any king. The Kshatriyas are rulers. So, in order to establish the fact that it is not that Kshatriya Kula has extinguished, it's still the original Kshatriya, that is, the before Parshuram tried to destroy the entire lineage, it still exists. So, anyway, that's a different story. Then Vaishya, then the Vaishya dynasty, the Vaishya Parampara, the caste system. So we saw the from Kardama Rishi, the Vaishya system. I was reading another book of um, Dattatreya. Dattatreya Vamsha. Dattatreya was Dattatreya, who's actually a manifestation of Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, of Anasuya and Atreya, where the Anusuya was considered very Atri Rishi. Anusuya was considered a very pious woman, very Pativrata Stri, and so Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Parvati, they went to test her and test her to see whether she was really pious. And so what they did was they wanted to test her. Narada had one day put it into their minds that, see, this, you all are considering yourselves as great Pativrata Stri of Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma. See, there is a great Pativrata Stri on the earth, Anusuya, who was a wife of Atri. And so what they did, they sent Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma to her, and with these conditions. And so they said that you should feed us food naked, when Atri Rishi had gone. So then what she did, through her penance, her powers of Pativrata Stri, means as her own powers, her own power of good virtues, she converted all of them into children, babies, little babies, and she fed them. So thus, and then afterwards, they lived there for some time, and then afterwards they were all joined together, and that was the Dattatreya. So from Dattatreya is another parampara that comes, is Nada Parampara. And the latest in Kali Yuga, who was born was Sripada Sri Vallabha. Sripada Sri Vallabha was born in this Kali Yuga, as so he is now he that Vamsha is of the Vaishya Parampara. He was born into a, so Vaishya caste system had two types. Two were Vaishya caste was divided into two. There were Arya Vaishyas and the other Vaishyas. Okay, so Arya Vaishyas had were very strict in the yajna yaga karmas and all of that, and they were, we can say, upper uh, considered upper class amongst the Vaishya community. So in that Vaishya community, it so happened that in that community only this Sripada Sri Vallabha was born. So at that time, Sripada Sri Vallabha, who is an incarnation of Dattatreya, he reveals that in that Vaishya community, at one point of time, 102 Gotras, 102 Gotras of the Vaishya dynasty, they, husband and wife of Vasavi Kanyaka, when Parvati was born as Vasavi Kanyaka. Vasavi Kanyaka is also a incarnation where of Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Parvati, all three together they manifested, and that is the Shakti of Dattatreya. So they are actually brothers and sisters. It's like almost like an Ardhanarishwara. Dattatreya and Vasavakanyaka. So now Vasavakanyaka, in one point of time, she and along with 102 Gotras, they entered into the fire pit. That is Yagnakunda, they all fell. That is husband and wife. So that is how the Arya Vaishyas, it was almost extinguished. Almost extinguished. So that caste may, so the only the remaining, the other, the general people of the caste system prevailed. So even Arya Vaishyas, who were almost like, say, zamindars, and who were literally not exactly rulers, but mini rulers, you can say. They had 102 of them, of that lineage, 102 different gotras. They fell into entered the fire pit. So we lost a lot of them in that caste system. The list of 102 gotras is also given here. I will not go through all of them. And also the husband and wives, the people, the pairs, the people who entered into, and they all belong to various, say, just if I go through, Gargya, Kaundinya, Vedanidhi, Maharshi Bhrigu, Samvarta, Hayagriva, Valmika, Pavitrapani, Maricha, Bodhayana, all of these gotras. So even though those rishis, initially those rishis, if we consider them of Brahmin, but there was a percolation into different castes as well, into the Kshatriya caste, into the Vaishya caste, into the Shudra caste, depending on which loka and depending upon the karmas. And depending on the karmas, they also got distributed to the different lokas. And so even in the Vaishya community, even though they were from the same Bhrugumuni, all these rishis, still, Vaishya community may 102 Gotras immolated themselves by falling into the Agni Kunda. So they were almost extinguished, you can say. So that is how the present day castes, the present day what we find are all the subjects, the people, ordinary people, according to the karmas, according to their profession, their occupation. So we have, and accordingly, we have the surnames. The surnames are defined according to the function or occupation they do. So, so we have this whole elaborate system. And Shudras, generally, those are servants. So, who are people who have to face grave punishments. They have to spend lots, thousands, hundreds of years in the hells where there are like Rururova, where the insects bite you, which is almost fiery in nature. They have to bear that kind of fiery, but when they do some good deed, they get to be born on earth. Maybe some of them are disabled, some of them have some incapacitated in some way or the other, can't hear, can't listen, can't see, or even limbs are lost, or some kind of a disease. Then that is the severity of punishment is also experienced by way of a human birth. They take human birth, and then they have to go through all this a learning process, you can say. Suffering, yes, a suffering is always a learning process, provided you take it in the right way. So they go through all these sufferings. That is why we have karma system. Karma is nitya karma, naimitya karma, vishishta karma, and this special karmas. The nitya karma, daily duties which we have to do, irrespective of who we are. Have a bath in the morning, do prayers, eat food. All these are nitya karmas. And according to the occupation, you do the karmas. Brahmanas, they go the yajna karmas, do perform pujas on behalf of others. Vaishyas, they have their own karmas. that is buying and selling goods, earning money for the family, protection of the family. Kshatriyas defending, they are the warrior class. They protect because they are physically strong. They have the that. So all these castes have been accordingly. Your physical system, mental system, your emotional system are all equipped in the way in which according to the function you perform. So that is how the caste system was originally designed. And even now it exists, but then um, a sense of superiority, inferiority, and these kind of looking down upon somebody or look. So these kind of outlook came about due to rulers from other countries, because of when our country was invaded by the Mughals, by the British, by other Europeans and other this. So we got influenced by their cultures and they treated us accordingly, and we are so influenced by them that our and due to many other factors, this we became literally subservient to them. We were used for fulfilling their agenda. So that is how there was a change in even the Brahmins started feeling as though they are servants of the British. So that kind of an attitudinal change, a mental change happened. But these were not the original design of the caste system. So when we criticize, when we take a stand on certain caste system, we need to keep all these facts, how the time has flowed, yugas have flown. Now, um, uh, we all talk of Ramayana. If we take the Mahabharata, Ramayana, which is the greatest epics, which is discussed almost every day by kirtankars and the pravachan, those who give discourses. Ramarajya. We think it is 10,000 years, 8,000 years, or 10,000 years, or whatever. But it is actually 48,000 years old. That is Ramayana. The Ramachandra was Sri Ramachandra, who got married to Sita of Janaka's daughter, took place in the 24th Treta Yuga. 24th Treta Yuga, which is 40, since then, now the present Kali Yuga, it is 48,000 years. We are in the 28th Kali Yuga. So every Chatur Yuga is 12,000 years. So 4 Yugas have passed since then. So we still think it is 10,000. Different calculations and things are done. So we need to be able to uh, 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 look at it from the larger time frame. And for that, we need to read a lot. There has been research, sufficient amount of research and data is available in various literature and in our own country, and we need to have a broader outlook in reading. We can't to some of them have been translated into English, but many of them are still in Sanskrit. Some of them have been in different languages, in Tamil, in Hindi. These are available, and in fact we have a complete record of the yugas, Chatur Yuga calendar of Vaivaswata Manvantara. The Vaivaswata Manvantara, published by Kuppuswamy Shastri Research Institute, KSRI, from Chennai, Mylapore. So they have given almost to the extent of the 28th Vaivaswata Manvantara is this present the 28th Chatur Yuga. So all details of from the 28th Kali Yuga, that is 336,000 years onwards, details are there of who was the Manu, who was the Avatara in that Manu, when Dattatreya was born, where he was born, and which Upanishad it is given, in which Purana it is given. which Purana, Vayu Purana, Matsya Purana, or everything. It has, and by reference, by research from various Puranas, Itihasas, and Kalpa. See, Kalpa, in every Kalpa, there is a reporting system, and that reports are also studied. Different rishis have reported on each of the Kalpas. And we have the details also of each of the rulers of all these kingdoms, even the Pandya rulers, who ruled for how many years is also given. Pandya dynasty during the Vaivasvata Manvantara. And some of them are incarnations. Some of these Pandya Rajas are not, they are part incarnations of Shiva, Vishnu, and all. That is why they could live for 5,000 years, 8,000 years. Some of them have lived. See now, Kirti Bhushana Pandyan, alias Kulashekara Pandyan, he lived from 29,100 BC to 20,000. That is 9,100 years. So these were part incarnations also. So we have to, some of them were incarnations of Indra, some were incarnations of Shiva. So we need to study our own history and Puranas much in depth in order to understand really our own culture, our own historical heritage. We have forgotten most of it, and we are fighting on petty issues now. And we want to fight elections based on this kind of a caste system. Caste system without Aadhaar card, without election card, without address proof, without birth proof, whatever. And in Bihar, we are finding what all kind of complications this just merely arriving at the electors voters list is creating. So if we really delve deep into the caste system, we can come up with a rich digging up, really excavation of our own knowledge system, our own heritage, the lineage, and what all we have. And this present day consciousness of this nation carries in it the carries with it the energy of all these generations that have lived here. This Punya Bhumi, this earth, this land of Bharat Varsha, it is not an ordinary land. Every jiva born carried with it the consciousness, and with it the lineage or the gotras to which they belonged. Some perished, some still exist. So we need to get in connected to that glory and then project ourselves before we even think of becoming Vishwaguru. Get back to basics, get back to the root of things, collect that knowledge, and then we can one day prove we were Vishwagurus. Forget it for the time being. Let us get to the grassroots. So with this discourse, with this discussion on it covered a vast gamut of things in this canvas, touching upon various issues on our caste system, the lineage, the gotras, the rishis, the paramparas, and all our lineage, right to the position where we are today. And remember, it carries your DNA right up to the cellular part of you, whom you define as you. So let us discover ourselves once again. Till then, see you tomorrow.